And it has not been a great few weeks for love in Hollywood. Katy Perry, Russell Brand announced their divorce at the end of December, but it appears they were ahead of the trend. January is apparently the most popular month for married couples to call it quits. So we'll find a little bit more about that and look at some ways to minimize the damage of getting divorced coming up. And now dealing with a divorce.
Katy and Russell. And then, of course, there's Kobe and Vanessa, and can't forget Zoe and Ben. They're just the latest batch of high-profile couples to call it quits. But this isn't just a Hollywood trend. Lawyers say January is the busiest month of the year for people to file for divorce. It's a process that can be both financially and emotionally draining. Andrew Feldstein is a family lawyer who specializes in separations and divorces. He's here in our studio with his advice to minimize the damage of divorce. Let's deal with the high number of divorces in January. Why do you think that is?
Well, I think there's two reasons. Number one, a lot of people will put off commencing a divorce or a separation the month of December because they know it's the holiday season. They may be celebrating religious holidays, there's time off school, and they want to have that one last time period to have the family together, mainly for the children. The other reason is a New Year's resolution type of mentality. They want to start clean, they want to start fresh and with something new. Those are the two predominant reasons that I see that January is usually very busy.
So clearly people are thinking about it, but they figure, let's get through the holidays and I'll deal with this in the new year.
Exactly.
Right? Okay. So now, before contacting a lawyer and initiating a divorce, is there a step or steps that couples should go through? Should they maybe seek counseling just to make sure beforehand?
Well, I tell all my clients when they come into my office and they say, should I leave my spouse? I tell them, that's not my job to tell you whether you should or shouldn't leave your spouse. My job is to tell you what will happen if you do leave your spouse. So marriage counseling absolutely is a good idea. It's something we regularly talk to our clients about when they first come in to meet with us. And we ask each one, have they had counseling and do we think it will be helpful for them? Because first the people have to decide, is this what they want to do? And if the answer is they want to do that, then getting legal advice before you commence the separation is also a good idea to understand what your rights and obligations may be.
People come in, I'm sure they have lots of questions for you, Andrew. What are they most surprised about when you start answering the questions that they have?
Well, I usually find there's two different types of issues that surprise people. One issue is the payor, who frequently, I'm applying a gender stereotype, is a husband who makes a decent income, and they find out the quantum of child support and spousal support that they're going to have to pay. And I've had a lot of men come in and walk out shaking their heads and never come back, and they haven't started the divorce, so I think sometimes that scares people into staying together. And the other thing has been the one who has been the primary caregiver who tells me, well, my spouse now has been spending more time with the children and they want equal time, and they're concerned about the fact they're not going to have as much time with their children as they always have because the other parent has become a more involved parent.
I want to hear a little bit more about that, the children. Some things that divorcing couples maybe should consider when it comes to kids and the impact on them.
Well, first and foremost, always put your children's best interests ahead of your own. That means no matter the things that your spouse has done that you may find to be despicable in terms of what they've done to you, don't talk to the children about it. Don't show the children your emotions because your kids are going to see it. Don't sit on the phone at night talking to your friend or your relatives about how bad your spouse is, because kids frequently have big ears and want to listen to what their parents are saying. And when they hear that, they're hearing things they really don't want to hear. They don't want to hear bad things about their other parent. All they want to do is love their parents, which means keep the children out of the dispute.
And that's a huge point, isn't it? It's a huge, huge point about the kids, because then you've got visitation and what are the kids thinking, and are they betraying one parent, going to another parent, and all those other issues.
Absolutely. Sometimes children will, in fact, try to tell both parents what they want to hear. So they'll go to mom and say to mom, I want to live with you, and go to dad and say, I want to live with you. And then the parents are involved in a custody dispute because they both think they're fighting on behalf of the kids, and the kids are doing it to try and keep their parents happy. You have to really put your children's interests ahead of your own and realize that will be important for how your children's outcome as adults will be.
All right. Andrew, good advice. Thank you so much for being here. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
Happy New Year to you.
Happy New Year.
Up next.